You're good. It's legit, and you should seek shelter in the middle of the building away from glass. I'm going live on. All right. Bye. This is a Claydar live stream. Maceville, Mason County, Brooksville, Bracken County, Mount Olivet, Robertson County. Everybody in that area is currently under a tornado warning. I repeat, we are under a tornado warning. We're going to take a look at our live stream right here as we can. I'm going to zoom in and try to start doing some analysis on screen. Hopefully you can see my cursor here. Actually, I'll tell you what, we're going to actually go grab the stream link and post it out to our social media channels so everybody can have that and kind of see what's going on as we're talking it. I can actually hear the tornado sirens going off behind me right now outside. So this is a legitimate situation. The storm has a history of producing tornadoes. And we want to get everybody as safe as we can, as quickly as we can. So we're just going to grab this stream link here real quick, make sure that it's going as it should, and we'll get that pushed out to our social media real quickly here. And then we're going to go ahead and push that across to our other channels so everybody gets the goodness as we can get the goodness. If you are outdoors, you need to seek shelter immediately. You absolutely need to seek shelter immediately. You need to be in a substantial structure. You need to be away from glass. You need to be somewhere you can protect your head. If you're in a one-story building, you should go to the middle room of that house, get as low as you can, and cover yourself with something substantial. Unfortunately, this is a real situation. The storm has evolved a hook on the southern edge. There is a cell merger currently happening. And all of those things combined can result in a strengthening system. Now, it's important to keep in mind that even without an actual tornado on the ground, this system has been measured with incredibly high winds. It's also producing very, very large hail. So, you know, if you can get a car inside, if you're in Mason County, you might have a chance to do that. If you're in southern Bracken County, you really need to be in shelter right now. All right, so we've pushed that out to all of our subscribers. We're going to hop back over to our window here and try to see if we can see anything going on with this storm. As you can see in red, we have our tornado warning. We're doing a split screen here so we can kind of see multiple facets of this storm and kind of see what all is going on. Our center of circulation right now is actually just northwest of Mount Olivet. We'll drop a marker and try to measure some distance here. That's about 5 miles northwest of Mount Olivet, and that'll be moving across the southern portion of the county. However, there are multiple cells here. You can see that there's a hail indicator on the southern cell as well as the northern cell, and these two cells are merging. So this area, this whole area is at risk for spin-ups and damaging hail. We're going to pull off some of the smoothing here real quick, just so we can get a better visualization of what's happening within the storm. One of the things that we look at here to verify the possibility of a tornado is not just the shear indicators, it's the gate-to-gate shear on the radar, which you can see here. That's those red pixels right next to the green pixels. When you see that, that's an indication that there's strong rotation within that storm. Right now we're showing about 42 knots outbound and about 10 inbound. So that's going to be probably a 60 to 70 mile per hour tornado aloft, pretty weak. However, we are seeing again those brighter returns, which are some indications that there may be some debris or dirt or something being lofted up into the air. Looking at our VCP screen over here, again, you can see brighter returns in this little notched area at the bottom of this storm. That would be indicative of items aloft. So it's possible that this has hit, you know, some trees or lifted some dirt into the air And that's certainly concerning. Another major point with this storm, again, is the hail. The hail potential with this storm cannot be understated. Right now, we're showing the possibility of hail to 2.5 inches in diameter, and that's anywhere along the path of this pink area that you're seeing. That would include places like Maysville, Germantown, Washington, Mays Lick. Sardis probably not going to see quite so much hail. I think the worst of this is going to move to your north. However, a little bit farther south, we have another cell, and that cell could spin up as well. I'm going to take this call real quick. Hello? Hello? Sounds like that was a reverse 911 call, again, pushing out the tornado warning. So we're starting to lose just a little bit of definition on this southern side. However, I am still concerned with the gate-to-gate shear. That means the whole storm has rotation to it. And I'm also still concerned with the signs just to the east of Milford, or east-southeast of Milford. I'm concerned with the signs here on some of our shape reflectivity. That's indicating to me that there's possibly debris in the air. Let's check and see what the actual word from the National Weather Service is. The tornado warning for southeastern Pendleton County has been canceled. The tornadic thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out of the warned area. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. The severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 4 p.m. for northern Kentucky. However, the tornado warning does remain in effect until 4:15. That's for Mason, Robertson, and Bracken counties. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles south of Brooksville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazards include tornado and golf ball-sized hail. Listen, folks, that hail is for real. I'm serious. It could be a weak tornado and not actually do anything, but if you're getting in any of that hail, it's going to cause damage to roofs. It's going to cause damage to siding on houses. It's going to strip branches out of trees. It's going to cause damage to cars. If you can shelter from that, you really need to shelter from that. Big deal here. Duck. Get down to the lowest level of any area that you can get to. Get under something heavy. You want to cover your head and neck if you can. You want to keep away from any glass, because that's going to, be, especially in this hail situation, glass is going to be a big issue. You could break out windows. We are seeing some fairly strong wind gusts with this storm outside of the tornadic area, 50 to 60 miles per hour. And that could be, again, some danger. Again, roofs, windows, and vehicle damage, all possible with this. Tree damage is likely. We're talking areas like Maysville, Washington, Ripley, Lewisburg, Brooksville, Stonewall, Mays Lick, Mitchell's Mill, Powersville, Peed, Helena, Chatham, Tuckahoe, and Hitville. If you're in any of these areas, you need to seek shelter right now. Some good news. We have lost our shear indicator on this storm. However, we do still see that there is a little bit of a hook on this southern edge. Again, I think the biggest area of risk right now is probably going to be just north of Sardis and heading between Washington and Mays Lick. That said, hail, huge concern. If you're in Germantown, you're going to see hail. If you're in Washington, large hail is possible. Lewisburg, you're probably in the area of greatest risk right now as the system moves into the area. Again, we're still seeing some shear in the actual storm itself. That's off the ground. That's above ground level. But some of the indicators that there was a tornado on the ground are starting to weaken. We're not seeing quite the level of reflectivity variance that we had seen before. So we're going to drop a marker here and take a look. Yeah, so we've started to drop out on the reflectivity here. Anything that was aloft has started to fall out, and this is looking more like rain at this point. Just very heavy rain or stuff falling out of the sky. However, we do still have rotation in the storm, and it is very important that you seek shelter and take this seriously. It's a very large tornado warning, and I think that's probably because of just the high wind threat with this storm. If you are in Minerva, you're going to be just to the north of this. You're probably getting some really heavy rain, thunder, lightning right now. Very, very dark off to your south. Brooksville, if you have any reports of hail that have moved through, please share those across to our social media channels so we can share those out with the National Weather Service. We're going to be probably seeking damage reports all along the path of this storm, and it'll be really interesting to see how much, if anything, has fallen. We do have a little bit of more broader rotation showing up with the system now, and that's going to be probably pulling off maybe a hair to the north. I'm starting to think, Washington, you're in the line of fire for this hail core. Maysville, you are in the line of fire for this hail core. Germantown, again, you're going to have hail with this. The hail is probably getting pretty close. You need to be in a sheltered location at this point. Basically, areas along the AA highway and south of the AA highway are at the greatest risk at this moment. We're still reviewing. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a dropout in our VCP product. We're going to switch over and see if we can't get some information here on our radar screen about precipitation type. Check out our spectrum width real quick. That's going to show us gustiness within the storm. Okay, so again, the spectrum width is an indication of possible tornadic activity. We've got very high spectrum width here. That means there's a lot of gustiness, vertical movement, as well as horizontal movement within the cell. That's, again, a dangerous indicator. Just north of Mount Olivet, potentially moving into Mount Olivet at this point. Mount Olivet, you need to be in shelter. Sardis, you need to be in shelter. Mays Lick, Washington, it's coming. You need to be in a safe location. Down, lowest floor of the house, under something substantial like a stairway. If you don't have that, get under a table, in a bathtub. Cover your head with something that's going to protect you from flying debris, blanket, pillow, anything you got. Keep away from glass. That's a major one with this storm. Large hail will break out windows, and you need to protect yourself from flying glass. The system's actually getting pretty close to PCM HQ, so we may go off the air here momentarily. However, I'm trying to get the word out to you as best I can. This hook echo, this area of the storm right here, just north of Mount Olivet, just to the northwest of Sardis, that's going to be the most likely area if there's a tornado on the ground for there to be a tornado on the ground. The pink area that you're seeing running from basically Brooksville toward Mays Lick, that's coming in toward Washington and Maysville, that's where the large hail and incredibly heavy rain is going to be. It doesn't matter if you're out of the area where the tornado is. Hail and high wind can be just as devastating. You have to worry about glass breaking in those situations. Stay away from windows. On top of that, we've got lots of lightning. I'm starting to pick up some thunder outside here. So that is a concern as well. However, the main concern at this time, again, is the tornadic possibility. We're going back and we're looking at our gate-to-gate shear here. It's still present, not quite as strong as it was when we first went on the air. We're seeing 10 knots inbound to roughly 40 knots outbound. Again, this is probably an EF0 or an EF1 tornado if there is a tornado on the ground. The main concern is hail, and some slightly good news coming in now. This area that was solid pink just a minute ago has collapsed a little bit and is producing less hail in all likelihood. However, just south of Germantown, very, very potent hail core, and as these storms begin to collapse, it's entirely possible that they pull down air with them and create a microburst and send out very strong tornadic strength winds that are just straight line winds. So we're going to keep an eye on that as the system progresses. I'm going to take a break here and we're going to go over and see if there are any comments coming through. I don't see any chats coming through currently. We're going to take back over to our social media feeds, do some checking. Okay, everything looks pretty good across the live stream. I'm hoping that everybody can hear what's going on right now. Looks like OBS is doing good, so I'm going to keep going. And we're going to hop back over and review the radar again. We're still seeing a pretty significant hail core. I do think the worst of the hail at this point is probably going to pass to the south of Maysville and potentially through the south end of Washington. The most at-risk area at this point, again, I mentioned you earlier in the broadcast, Lewisburg. Lewisburg has a chance of seeing a tornado here. Lewisburg has a chance of seeing this hail core here. If you are south of this white line, if you are north of a line from Mount Olivet to Mays Lick, you are in the line of fire and you need to be somewhere safe. That's not to say that any other areas should be leaving their shelters at this point. Brooksville, you're in the clear. Milford, you're in the clear. Germantown, you got a few more minutes to go. Minerva, it's about to pass over you. Mount Olivet, probably in the next 5 minutes, you'll be okay. However, areas like Washington, Maysville, Lewisburg, Mays Lick, you all need to be in shelter. There's another strong cell to the south that's moving up a little bit. And one of the concerns here, one of the reasons this tornado warning was so large is because as these two cells merge, you can introduce some additional spin into a system. Anybody in this triangle is really at risk and needs to be ready to take shelter immediately if you're not already in your shelter. Sardis, especially the north side of Sardis, you absolutely need to be in a sheltered location at this point. This is right on top of you all. This is moving very, very close to Sardis. We're seeing a tight relation between the knot of precipitation here, as well as the gate-to-gate shear indicators. We're seeing bounded weak echo region in our VCP product, and we're seeing very high reflectivities in terms of our spectrum width, which indicates gustiness in the storm. If you are in Sardis, you need to seek shelter immediately. Mount Olivet, give it just a few more minutes and you'll be all right. Lewisburg, this is going to be a direct hit. You need to be in a sheltered location right now. If it is safe to do so, especially for areas like Brooksville or Milford, if you have experienced damage or large hail, or if you have anything to report, please share that through to our social media channels. We'll get that to the local emergency management officials and eventually to the Weather Service as an official report. Falmouth, this storm came through your area earlier. Same deal. If you have anything to report, share them through to our social media channels. We're on Twitter, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're right here on YouTube with Claydar Live. I'm going to try to pull up some different products here. Very, very heavy precipitation coming in currently and some fairly high echo tops. So this storm right now is peaking over 43,000 feet in elevation. So there's a lot of room for stuff to come down. Take a look at rainfall just in case there's a flood risk. So there are some areas behind this cell that have picked up in excess of an inch of rain, although it's been a while since we've seen any rain. I don't really think the flood risk is that big. My current concern is this hook echo near Sardis, as well as this very large hail core that continues to persist and is headed south of Washington, north of Mays Lick, through the Lewisburg area. So one of the products that we can look at is the hydrometeor classification algorithm, HCA, and that's going to tell us exactly what kind of precipitation we're seeing. You see over here GH on the scale, this kind of pink area. That's giant hail. That is very, very large hail falling out of the storm that the radar hasn't quite updated its storm tracking algorithm with yet. Other areas seeing hail would it be anywhere within these red pixels. So along the AA from Germantown into the Clyde-Barber intersection, it's been through Minerva. Washington is potentially starting to see hail. Lewisburg, it's knocking on the door. Again, Sardis, Mays Lick, Lewisburg. If you're not in shelter, you're wrong. You need to be sheltered. Mount Olivet, you've got the all clear. You can probably come out and start taking a look at things. In fact, you just saw right there in real time our tornado warning got trimmed. The tornado warning does continue for all of Mason County right now. Is basically along a line following, we'll say that's Fleming Road. So if you're along and west of Fleming Road, you're still under a tornado warning. The storm does still have a hook echo. There is still rotation in this storm. It has weakened a bit since we first went on the air. However, the tornado warning does persist for another few minutes. Let's take a look and update our information here. The tornado warning is in effect for an additional 15 minutes for Mason County. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. That means this storm has the features that look like it's producing a tornado. Nobody has confirmed that there's anything on the ground with this storm yet. Was near Washington, Kentucky, and continued to move east at 40 miles per hour. The tornado is a possible hazard. However, the biggest hazard that is identified right now is ping pong ball sized hail. Folks, ping pong ball sized hail is no joke. And we've said this a few times since this went on the air, but we're saying hail to 2 inches in diameter, if not 2.5 inches in diameter. And that is just, that's very, very large hail. We're talking hail, the size of a golf ball. And that kind of hail, especially when it's paired with high winds in a thunderstorm can easily shatter glass and break into the main floor of your home. The safest thing you can do when a severe thunderstorm is approaching, especially if it's tornadic or has large hail, is follow the duck method. Get down to the lowest level of your house. Basement is best. If you don't have a basement, go to the first floor. Get under something substantial, something like a staircase or a table or in a bathtub. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. That's the center of the house. And keep away from glass. The flying glass would be the number one risk with this storm at this time. The tornadic signature has actually greatly diminished. However, the hail core remains and is actually looking fairly healthy right now. Lewisburg, you're in it for the long haul. Areas between Washington and Mays Lick, you're directly under the hail core as we're looking at it. This storm will continue to the east as it leaves Mason County. It's going to impact places like Rectorville. It's going to move to the north of Helena. Eventually, this will move into Lewis County, and we're going to hop off the air as this tornado warning expires. I expect this tornado warning to expire in the next few minutes as the storm is really starting to lose its tornadic properties. However, if you have any reports of large hail or damage from a potential tornado, again, share those to our social media accounts. We're at Claydar on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. And we're on Threads. Share us pictures. Share us videos. Anything you got once it's safe to do so. Sardis, you're now in the clear. Germantown, you are now in the clear. Areas between Washington and Mays Lick are taking the brunt of this storm. Maysville, you're probably going to see some hail and some heavy rain. However, I think the risk of a tornado for you at this point has greatly reduced. So I would say Maysville is probably in the clear. As this, again, shows signs of becoming a more stable situation, I think I'm going to close down our live stream here. Everybody stay safe, report what you can when you can, and hopefully you didn't suffer any significant damage. As always, we are Claydar Weather. Stay safe.